Putting together a protest rally or a memorial at the last minute involves a lot of work, a lot of moving parts, bringing speakers here, bringing speakers there, getting the microphones, getting the tents, getting permission to hold your little protest or your memorial. So we have to be understanding if people, during the process of the memorial, forget things. Well, that happened in Delaware today at a memorial for the 4950 Muslims who were shot and killed in New Zealand recently. So my brother went down to the ceremony. He just walked in the door and I said, hey, Denny, his name's John. We call him Denny. Hey, Denny, what'd they say when you reminded them that last year 60,000 Christians were killed by Muslims around the world and nobody really seemed to really say anything about it? Well, I'm sure and my brother said, well, he didn't say anything about it, so he forgot. Turns out everybody else down there forgot too. Well, I guess they forgot in St. Louis as well.
New Zealanders are struggling to cope with the impact of Friday's deadly assault at two mosques. 50 people were killed and 50 injured when the shooter opened fire. From New Zealand to the Del Mar Loop, people in St. Louis came together to remember those who were killed at Islamic centers in the city of Christchurch last week. As 5 on your side's Marianne Martinez reports from University City, it was a day of support and emotion.
Their family members, their fathers, their brothers, their children, whose only crime was their faith.
On this corner of the Del Mar Loop,
it's definitely wonderful to see, of course, the diversity out here.
Dozens came from all backgrounds, all faiths, all ages.
When I first saw and heard about the attack, it was almost disbelief. This was our worst nightmare.
They lit candles and held each other, mourning the death of 50 people in New Zealand.
This was a white supremacist attack that targeted the Muslim community, and we're here to stand united against that type of hatred.
Even though the attack happened on the other side of the world in New Zealand, many who came out here today felt a deep personal connection.
People in our community here in St. Louis, they don't look at the New Zealand community as the New Zealand community. They'll look at them as our brothers and sisters who are targeted.
Faizan Saeed says he just learned that one of the interns in his organization, the Council on Islamic American Relations, is a relative of someone who was shot in New Zealand.
So when you're dealing with minority communities, there is a connection happening.
And those who are not Muslim say it is important to show solidarity.
The growing danger of white supremacy terrifies me.
Judy Clifford says she could not stay home and stay quiet. She had to speak out.
So the thing that I'm most keenly aware of right now is my privilege, white privilege. And I think more and more people need to be aware of what that does to our society. We want everyone to see our diversity as our strength, not as a problem.
Boy, St. Louis is a weird place to protest white supremacy or white nationalism and white privilege. St. Louis is a place where if you are white, you are a target of really, really nasty black on white violence, whether it's downtown, whether it's near the archway, whether it's out at the ballpark. This is a place where people have their heads on a swivel. We've done tons and tons of stories about that, not just the violence, also the denial. St. Louis, of course, is known as the birthplace of the knockout game. That's where black people go and beat the hell out of white people for the hell of it, laughing, always laughing. Yeah, that's where they happened there.
Please, sir, I want some more.
When this first started happening, the person who was the equivalent of the district attorney in St. Louis, she said one of the fellows was responsible for 300 of these attacks. So I reported that. Her assistant sent me an email, and she said, well, it probably wasn't 300. So I said, well, how many was it? Well, they didn't really know. Well, was it 10% of 300? Okay, let's change it. In St. Louis, one of the fellows was responsible for 30 examples of the knockout game. And the same place where they had this rally memorial in St. Louis, the Del Mar Loop, there's a ton of black mob violence there. My favorite one is when they took the camera out to to the local DJs, black DJ, and they said, hey, what's up with all this black violence out in the Loop? It's kind of an entertainment district. Everybody's supposed to be having fun out there. Why are the fellas periodically going out there and destroying property, attacking people, getting in fights, shooting guns, attacking police, the whole thing? You know the drill. The DJ said, well, it is because the restaurant and business owners out there haven't done enough to reach out to the fellas and make them feel welcome. So there you have it. The recipe for peace and love in St. Louis is make the fellas feel welcome, and you will not make the black kids angry.